I have one of my house skirts on, so don't mind me. Remember when I used to film in HD, y'all? I still have my camera, so I'm gonna give this another shot. Um, so basically, I had a really positive response to my first story time, the guy from Lima video. Um, and I had a lot of people, specifically young queer people, messaging me asking for more stories. And so, while I haven't led a life full of, interesting romantic encounters with people, I did get an email today that sort of brought something up. So, we're going to rewind and shit, hold on. I'm not editing this, y'all, so you're going to have to bear with me. I have orange juice that I want to drink. I have to grab a glass. Let's see. Which is... Oh, okay. This one's clean. Okay. So, we're going to rewind to a few years ago where I was taking a trip through Europe for about a week. I specifically just went to Paris and then I went to Amsterdam on my way down to South Africa. And I kind of talked about that in some other videos before. This was a little under 2 years ago. And, of course, I have to explore, gay scenes, queer scenes, wherever I go. And my friends and I were at this awesome, I think we were at a Thai restaurant in Amsterdam, and, well, okay, to rewind, we booked a hostel in the center of everything, right next to the red light district. It was not a good choice because it was really touristy, and everyone who was roaming the streets was the sort of person who, like, they're almost all from America, and it's just like, you wonder if they have a closet full of Grateful Dead t-shirts, or if they just wear the same one every single day, and, like, all of them are just there to get high, and not all of them, but, like, everyone that we met in that area. And so I actually made a lot of friends at that hostel that I still keep in touch with on Facebook, but it was kind of rough. And so I just wouldn't recommend staying. I wouldn't recommend staying there. Everywhere else in Amsterdam is so incredibly beautiful, but this video is not about that. So we were at this Thai restaurant, and me and some gay friends, like, I guess we were stereotyping our server, who is a really beautiful woman that also just sort of seemed queer to us. Like, we were just getting those vibes from her. She was really vibing with us, and so we just straight up asked her, like, hey, do you know where the gay and lesbian bars are around here? And she, of course, knew, and she gave us a list, and so she told us to go to this one street, and I forget the name of the street, so forgive me, anyone who is Dutch who's watching this. But we went, and it was me and two other queens, right? And these are the same people who were with me in the video about the guy from Lima, because we're all in the same program, and so we've traveled the world together. And so we went to this one bar, and I think it was my first experience actually going to a gay bar, not a club, just a bar. And there was a stage about the size of my coffee table for, like, a lone comedy drag queen who was just, like, reading people and telling funny jokes. And overall, it's a really good atmosphere. And so we go there, and I'm having such a hard time mingling with people because, like, group socializing is, like, really rough for me. And one of my friends sees someone that he, like, wants to go after, and it's like, okay, that's my target, I guess. My other friend is, like, kind of being pulled away by someone who's really attracted to him. And I'm just kind of there, and, like, so he gets pulled away, the other girl gets pulled away, and I'm just there at the bar, and I meet someone from Florida And so we're talking about Florida, and I thought like, okay, this is someone to talk to for a while. And then he found someone that he was interested in. He just like ditched me like halfway through a tequila shot. And so I was just kind of there, and I was pitying myself for a few minutes before I kind of got my shit together. I was like, okay, I'm gonna speak to someone. And so I just turn around and I'm looking around at this bar. It's a very small, very narrow bar. It had 2 stories, and I think both my friends were like at the second floor, and I was on the first. And I kind of meet eyes with this guy who was standing near me in a circle of people, and he was a Dutch guy, and he just like gestures for me to come over because I'm very clearly like uncomfortable. Also, this is back when I had like a huge head of hair, y'all, like that big, and so I'm the only black person there, so I'm like standing out, and I'm taller than almost everyone. Um, and so I go over to the circle, and he's just like, "You look like you need a drink," and he gives me this really tall beer, and I was like, not used to taking drinks from strangers, but this is great. This is what I need right now. I'm not gonna press this, and so, which I don't recommend. Young queer people, I really don't recommend that. But I took the beer, and he was the only gay person in the circle, and they were all his like straight coworkers, and they work for a like a production studio, and the guy was like a director, and they were all like producers or sort of movie people. And it was really really cool. And so they were talking about their projects, and I'm just a university student. I'm just telling them like, hey, I'm like, how old was I? I was 21. Yeah, I was 21 on that trip. Was I? I might have been 20. Anyway, okay. So we're talking, and little by little the friends they go their separate ways, and they go off, and it's just me and this guy, and we're gonna call him Ted. It's not his real name, but it's pretty close. And so Ted and I are such an odd name for like a Dutch man, but so Ted and I are talking about the gay scene in Amsterdam, and it's kind of something I've been wanting to make a video about. And like he was talking about gay scenes in Europe overall, and there's just like an interesting relationship between LGBT, basically LGB legislation passing in a certain jurisdiction, and that gay scene shrinking or vanishing, at least in terms of like the physical space. So the gay neighborhood kind of just like assimilates into the rest of the city and just doesn't really become a thing anymore. And so we were talking about like kind of the implications of social ostracization and like homophobia actually being the force that kind of it doesn't create. Oof, sorry, my curtains are blowing in the wind. My battery's almost dead. Okay, being a force that kind of keeps these communities together, I guess, being the pressure that keeps them together. Because if you're not discriminated against in your society and you're able to kind of access whatever you want regarding your sexuality, especially with apps, you don't need that physical space anymore, and so they're vanishing. And that's kind of really scary, and it's really interesting. Anyway, so we're talking about that. Really great conversation, super, super great. And at this time, I was telling him about my aspirations to go to Japan and how it might not work out, but I hope it does. And here I am in Japan making a video about it. But so it's really nice to think about. And so, conversation was just so good, and it wasn't even like flirty at this point, and we're both just drinking more and more and more and more beer. Pretty soon the bar lets out. It's like 1 or 2 in the morning, and we go to another bar, and we just dance. And the music was, I'm pretty sure the music was good. I was really, really intoxicated at this point. And, and we're just dancing, and it was just very picturesque for me. in this like hip dance club, and like I can't really see much around me. It's just like swirling colors, and I just noticed him, and I guess to kind of give you a little bit of information about Ted. He's about as tall as me, so maybe about 6'2", and Dutch guy, white, older, older than me, maybe like he was probably like twice my age, so like maybe like 41 at the time, which is really interesting. That was my first time like really sort of dealing with someone else who was like older than me in that context. And long story short, we're just like dancing and having a nice time, and we like kiss, and it was really, 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 really sweet. Of course, like I mentioned in my last video, this is my last night in Europe, and early in the morning, like 4 in the morning, I had to wake up and like catch a train or a plane somewhere. So that's a thing. That's the curse. So we kiss, and it's beautiful, and then he actually invites me over to his place. And he's like, we don't have to do anything. Like, we don't have to sleep with each other, but if you want like a comfortable place to stay, that's not the hostel. My place is this way, and we could go and like listen to records and talk some more, which sounded like heaven, honestly. And I really, really wanted to do it. And like part of me wishes I did, and just like got up at 3 in the morning. Well, no, I couldn't have. That was like, I'm exaggerating. I probably had to get up at like 6, because by the time we left that dance club, it was like 3:30 or 4. So anyway, so we leave, and I tell him no, and I had to get back to my hostel, and my friends are there, and like they'd be freaked out. And so he's like, okay, I'll walk you to your hostel, and it's just before sunrise, so it's like as dark as it's gonna get in Amsterdam. And he catches his bike because everyone has a bike there, um, and we just like walk through the urban center of Amsterdam towards where the hostel was. And at this night, or at this time, there was I think a rugby or a soccer game happening. There were a lot of people from the UK in town, and they were rioting and fucking shit up because some fucking team lost. Like, I don't know the details about that. I have it all in my written journal, but it's that particular journal is in my parents' garage in Florida right now. But basically, there was like literal rioting in the streets, and people were smashing windows, people were burning things, and so you'd walk down these like quiet, dark streets over canals, like nothing is open, like no lights are on, and then you'd pass another street, and you would hear the roaring, and it's just like, okay, I'm not going down there. And it'd be quiet again, and you'd run into another riot, and it was just really, really wild. And in the morning, girl, there was a lot of damage. Like, English people fucked that city up that night. So anyway, so we're just like walking through, and we're holding hands, and it's really, really sweet, and we're talking about the stars. Like, it was so fucking cliche and like ridiculous. But then like when we start hearing the riots from the sports game, we like immediately stop holding hands. And that was like, I'm normally okay with PDA, and I'm just kind of like, whatever, like nothing will happen to me. But he was like, no, we shouldn't, like we're at risk. And yeah, things got really, really intense. Like, we tried to keep away from the rioting, but it almost like boxed us in as we were walking to this hostel. And so we get to the hostel finally, and the sun's like about to rise, and the sky's lighting up, and he gives me his card, and we kiss, and I tell him I'll email him, and he says good luck trying to get to Japan, have fun in South Africa, and then we part ways, and I go inside, and he walks away. And so that was really sweet. It was really, really good, really, really good interaction. That summer was kind of intense for me, and that like memory sustained me through some interesting experiences in South Africa later. And so that happened, and I emailed him a couple times when I was working on the farm in South Africa, like 2 months after that. And then after that, we just didn't talk. And there was no sort of exchange between us until I thought of him a couple months ago here, and I was just like, oh, I guess I made it. I made it to Japan. I should let him know. I should let Ted know. He didn't have a Facebook or anything, and so I sent him an email. That was like an update, and I sent him photos, and it was just kind of cute. Like, hey, I was thinking of you, and I hope life is treating you well, and I hope this email like works. And I got no response, and so I thought about it for a couple days. Like, wow, okay, that's totally cool. And I didn't think about it at all until 2 hours ago when I am working out in the gym and I get an email, and it is from Ted, and it basically, sorry, I have to like refresh. Long story short, he was just as sweet as ever, and also just as interesting. And he kind of told me that like he was just kind of clearing out his inbox right now when he came across my email because he had a stroke, and that was a really powerful experience for him. And he said like there's not much damage, like it's mostly like internal, like some sort of concentration issues. I feel weird like spilling all this tea, but I'm not connecting it to a person that you can look up, so I feel better. But some sort of concentration issues, and he gets like tired more easily, but like nothing regarding his like movement or like the way he looks or anything, according to him. So he was really grateful for that, but it was just kind of really intense. Like, whoa, like a few months ago I was just like, this bitch, I wish she answered my emails, and then now he's like, oh, I'm sorry, like I had this stroke. And I've never had a friend who had a stroke before. I think I've known a few, maybe like family members or older people in the community, but like, I don't know. Yeah, like I don't have anything to like say or like, I guess I don't have anything that I gleaned from that sort of experience. It was just an experience, and I'm telling you about it, and I'm telling myself about it because this is my video journal. But yeah, I haven't even actually read the email in its entirety. I just kind of read the first half. But okay, cool. And so the stroke disrupted his work. He was kind of worried about the stability of his job even before the stroke happened, but it looks like things are going to be great. And yeah, I don't know, I'm really happy. I also have the day off tomorrow, so I'm like super happy about that. But I just wanted to make another video, storytime video number 2, the guy from Amsterdam, and I'll try to think of more. I'm running out of stories, but yeah, let me know if you watch this. The code word is French fry. That's the code word. Leave a comment with the word French fry. Y'all were really creative with the code word potato last time. I was very proud. I was like laughing at every single email I got from all the new comments, so thank you for that. Yeah, actually, the code word's curry, because I'm about to eat some curry, girl, so scratch the French fry foolishness. It's curry. I'll stop rambling now. So, y'all have a great day, and stay safe, take it easy. Goodbye.